Welcome to CCN TV News, your premier source for local and international news. From the streets of Kingston to the capitals of the world, we are ready to cover you stories that shape our world. Stay tuned for breaking news. Steel, aluminum, apples, almonds, and a 7.6 billion trade beef. What do all these have in common? They're at the center of a brewing trade storm between India and the United States. One that just landed on the global stage at the World Trade Organization. And this isn't your typical tariff tit for tat. This one's wrapped in national security, legal loopholes, and a whole lot of diplomatic flexing. Let's unpack what's going down. It all started back in 2018 when the US government, under Section 232 of its Trade Expansion Act, imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The reason? Not economics, but national security. Section 232 allows the US president to restrict imports if they're seen as a threat to the country's security. So, Washington slapped hefty duties on foreign steel and aluminum, claiming it was to protect American industries from potential vulnerabilities. India didn't buy that explanation. To New Delhi, it looked more like a classic protectionist move dressed up in security language. For years, India held back, but now it's pushing back with a plan to impose its own retaliatory tariff on 29 American products. That's right. Everything from apples and almonds to antifreeze and boric acid is on the table. According to reports, this would affect roughly 7.6 billion worth of US exports. India took the flight to Geneva, to the World Trade Organization. It filed a notice saying, essentially, if you hurt our exports, we'll hurt yours. WTO rules allow us to do that when you impose safeguard tariffs. But here's the twist. The US doesn't consider those steel and aluminum tariffs to be safeguard measures at all. In a sharply worded statement to the WTO, the US said, "We're not even talking about safeguards here. This is about national security. And under WTO law, that's a whole different ball game." In other words, you can't punish us for something that isn't a punishable offense in your rule book. Now, here's where it gets legally juicy. The WTO Safeguards Agreement allows countries to retaliate when another member imposes safeguard duties to protect its local industry. But the US insists in its tariff. Were not about protecting steel jobs, they were about securing the nation. And according to international law, when a country invokes national security, it steps into a sort of legal gray zone where normal trade rules may not apply. So what happens now? The WTO is in a tough spot. If it says the US is wrong, it risks angering a major power. If it sides with the US, it opens the door for every country to slap tariffs and call them security measures. Imagine a world where any country can raise prices, block imports, or retaliate. Then shrug and say, sorry, national security. That's not just messy, that's chaotic. Meanwhile, back at the diplomatic table, India and the US have been working on a broader trade agreement for years. It's a complicated dance involving agriculture, pharmaceuticals, digital data, and now retaliatory tariffs. This latest WTO standoff could make that deal even harder to reach. And let's not forget the people caught in the middle. U.S. farmers could lose a valuable export market. Indian manufacturers could face more expensive imports. Consumers on both sides might feel the pinch. This just isn't just about steel and apples. It's about how two of the world's largest economies handle conflict, play the global trade game, and redefine what fair even means in a world where everyone's protecting their own turf. So who wins this round? Will India follow through with its $7.6 billion tariff threat? Will the WTO take a stand on what counts as national security? Or will the US walk away untouched again? Either way, the fallout from this dispute could reshape how trade wars are fought in the years to come. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-world global drama, and drop your thoughts below. Should national security be an excuse to dodge trade rules? Let's talk. This is CCN World TV News, where we break down the headlines without the suits or the spin. See you in the next one.